Yay! Let me know that you're here. Pop in, say hi. Let me know where you're from. Hi, if you haven't hung out with us on a Sunday night, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside, and you've just walked into PrairieDodgers. We hang out together every Sunday, and we've been doing this now for I think a few years now, consistently every Sunday. Oh, Owen made it in here first tonight. If you've never hung out with us before, come in, introduce yourself in the chat. Come and meet Owen and Andrew. They are two of my main moderators here on Sunday night. Amazing, amazing guys. I have some amazing women too. I'm sure they'll be popping in shortly. My house is a disaster. I tell you, I've been going at it all day, but I accomplished quite a bit. I accomplished quite a bit. For those of you who haven't hung out with me before, I'm working on heading out on a trip in 2 weeks as of Wednesday. I think this is the plan, is that Wednesday the 15th will be the day that I leave. That way I'll come back on a Sunday night, so I'll be gone for five days. That will be a perfectly good length for a little bit of a trip, an outing. I plan on doing some explorers. Hopefully, we find some abandons. Going to do some mining. I'm going mining for amethyst. That's going to be fun. I'm going to be making some YouTube explore videos from this trip that I'm going on. It's a bit of a budget trip. I'm using one full paycheck to make this trip happen. My plan on picking up the car. I'll be renting a car and driving up to Thunder Bay. While driving, it's a route, right? You have to go up and around, so it's a little bit of up, a little bit of down, right? A little bit of south, a little bit of north, and we are going to get there. I'm going to do some little bit of rock hounding. It's along the coast of Lake Superior is where I'm traveling. So, Melvin made it here tonight too. Awesome. How's Melvin doing this week? How has everybody been doing this week, actually? I'd be curious to know. I know school is heading back into session. I know Andrew is going to be back to work, hard work. I'm sure the kids being back, that's going to add on to your plate. And I shouldn't say kids, right? These are young adults. These are the people that we're going to be looking towards. These are our next set of thought leaders out there, the ones who will be the next generation. Let's hope they did a lot better job than we did. And actually, we weren't the last in line, were we? It was actually the millennials. Wasn't it the millennials who were last in charge? The baby boomers, they kind of were put off to the side, I guess, a couple of decades ago, and we gave the millennials. Is it millennials or is it the Gen X? Right? I think it was the millennials. Who had the last run at things. Yeah, there's been a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to what's going on in the news. I don't follow the news steadfastly. I'm not one. I think that when you pay attention to the news for any great lengths of time, it kind of wears on you, right? It makes you a little bit compulsive about what everybody else is doing, and we spend less time paying attention to what we're doing. And it's important to know what's going on in the world. But, this is the first generation where we've actually been able to connect at any given time in any part of the world without any delay. Being in the digital age, you can find out what's going on right this moment, anytime in the world. And again, if you're living in Louisiana, I don't know if any of my followers are from the Louisiana area at all. I heard they had a Category 4 hurricane touch land earlier today. So hopefully everybody is doing okay and managing okay in that hurricane. Angry Birds is in too. Awesome. Yeah, there's so much crazy stuff going on in the world. We take a beating, and the next thing you know, it's like we're hitting the ground. And then they're not happy with that, so they just keep on giving us the boot while we're hitting the ground, right? And I'm going to suspect that's the way with most people, with most people's lives, right? With most organizations. And Kathy's here too. Hi, Kathy. I hope everybody is doing good this week. If there's anything new and exciting going on, or even if it's not exciting, right? If it's just something you're struggling with that this week has been a bit of a stinker, let us know in the comments, right? Let's see if we can all kind of rally the troops and come up with some solutions. And I tell you, I could have used some solutions today. I had so many things going on, cleaning the bedding, washing the laundry, and a few loads of laundry. I had to go through my walk-in closet because, for like you guys know, I'm heading out on a trip in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. We're going to be hitting the road in 2 weeks. So I wanted to get through some of that camping gear that I had, try and decide what I want to take with me. I'm not sure whether I'll be taking my tent. I have a great tent, a pop-up tent, the same tent that caved in on me when I was doing my bushcraft videos, that winter storm that I got stuck in. And then I just left. I just got in my truck, and I just head back to city, and I didn't go back out to camp that entire winter. And I had to wait until the following summer to be able to get out there and grab all my gear that I had out there that got buried in that storm. No worse for wear. I got it back to the city, and got set it up and washed everything out, swept everything out, and my gear was no worse for wear. Oh, actually, no, that's not true, because my camp chair was actually eaten by rodents. I pulled it out today just to get everything all cleaned up and ready to go. And I have this Coleman camp chair. I've had it for, oh my goodness, I think I must have had this chair now going on 10 years, probably 10 years. It has served me well. This has been a really great, it's a Coleman product, this camp chair that I had here. But this chair ended up staying after that camp storm. I left my tent there. I left all my camp chairs and all my equipment and all my survival gear, my axe and everything. 6 months later, I went out there to collect everything, but everything, like I said, was no worse for wear. But I was just pulling this out here just to show you that I had left some peanut butter in this pocket here. I have this pocket on this camping chair, and I left some peanut butter in there, and the rodents chewed through my pocket in order to try to get to the peanut butter. So I actually had to sanitize. I had to soak this chair in the bathtub with some bleach and some dish soap and stuff for a few days. I didn't bother sewing the hole in this thing, but it gives my chair a little bit of character. I'm just noticing here now that when they chewed, they kind of frayed everything up. So I'm going to have to give that a little bit of a trim. I'm glad I pulled that out to show everybody, because now I know that needs a little bit of a repair job there. Clean up the fray so that I can do up the zipper and everything. And so we're no worse for wear. I'm pretty excited. Now I've got to live with this junk. I've got little piles going on in my living room here all over the floor. And I'm just going to scoot, that's making me a little claustrophobic. Push that over there. I've got camp gear all over the place. I'd actually show you, but it's just a true mess right now. I was kind of trying to figure out some rigs, right? Because I'm going to need lots of water when I go mining for amethyst, because the amethyst, when I pull them out of the ground, they'll be in like little cavities in the dirt banks, right? But they'll be covered in layers and layers of muck. And because I want to be very selective about what the crystals that I'm going to be bringing home, that I wanted to make sure that I had lots of water, that I'm taking lots of water with me. And I am. I picked up a couple of jugs at work, a couple of camping for a couple dollars. I'll fill those up with water. I'll leave those. The cat, Melvin, the cat actually is going to be staying on its own. I know. I feel kind of bad, but I'm practicing not getting wrapped up in guilt and shame. But there's no use in me taking the cat with me because I will be out in the field looking for amethyst, and I'll be out there, and who's to know what the weather is going to be like. I could leave the cat in the car, right, in its carrier. I could take the cat with me. Maybe it would enjoy a little bit of the fresh air. Maybe it will enjoy the drive. I don't know. I've never taken the cat with me on a drive before, but I've kind of made the executive decision. My sister offered to feed the cat while I was away. And I think, even though she's going to miss me for 5 days, that I think probably that's the best solution for my cat, is for her to just stay home and then just have my sister feed the cat while I'm away, right? So that's probably what the best thing is I'm going to do. Oh, that's good. That's good. I was actually working on your cane this week, Andrew. I'm working on the thumb hole. That's the one thing about my walking sticks, because normally I don't sign my walking stick, but I would assume my sticks are I guess tagged to me, right? Because I would assume my sticks will be here long after I'm gone. But yeah, I'm working on a bit of a thumb hole so that when you're walking, you got your thumb can actually dig in a little bit for a little bit more support, a little bit more stability. So I'm just digging out some of the woodwork in here so that your thumb will be able to fit in there really, really nice. I started sanding it down because I needed a piece of dry stick, right, for making Andrew's walking stick, because I don't want it to sit up on a rack, because normally you have to let for every inch the stick is, and this one's about 1.5 inches. It actually needs about a year of drying on a rack evenly. And now, even though this wasn't evenly dry, because I actually went out into the bush and on my walk, or on my bike ride, it was a bike ride that day, but I ended up doing some walking into the bush and stuff, because I went out on that day specifically to find a nice straight stick for Andrew. And look how nice and straight that's it. I mean, it's got some character to it. It's got some character, and I'm going to be doing some work, a little bit more work of getting those knots sanded down and a little bit more even. But yeah, it's a nice stick, but it has a little bit of fray here. I won't be able to stain it because I'm leaving in 2 weeks, and it takes 2 weeks for a stick to actually cure with the stains. And because I wait a couple of days in between my coats too, right? So it's going to take a few coats and a few sands, because I want it to have a lifetime of durability before I send it to Andrew. But that's not going to stop me from taking it on my trip anyway. And if it gets a little bit of dings or a little bit of absorption because of the dirt or whatever, it's just going to be magic mojo that's going to be added onto a stick. Every one of my sticks, every one of my walking sticks or my walking canes that I do make, I make it a habit, and it's part of the mojo of the stick, is to make sure that it gets to go on some of those explorers. So yeah, Andrew's stick will be coming with me to Thunder Bay, Ontario. See, you can see a little bit of the stick. It's starting to take shape here in the thumb hole. And this is what's going to add to the stability when you're walking, using your cane, Andrew. So yeah, so right after this trip, it will be main priority on, I get paid again on the 17th, and I will make sure that $50 is saved, because I think of everybody out there. I think it's a priority that at the very least will get Andrew's cane to him, so that it can be part of his physiotherapy that he's doing, that he can get used to using it. And it won't feel so much like physiotherapy, right? Because it'll be like a walking stick rather than a cane, though I'm building it like a cane, right? Because this will be a stick that I hope that you hold on to and keep for going forward, right? That you'll always, you might not need. You could just see this is what I'm peeling off, and this is what I've got to deal with this stick. It's gonna take quite a bit of sanding to do, but I'm not in a rush now that I know that I don't have to wait for staining it and finishing it off. But I will take it so that the stick actually has an adventure under its belt. It's important. All my sticks I like to take out on an adventure. And we're hoping, right, that this adventure that I'm going on to Thunder Bay, that we all enjoy this, that we get some lessons out of this, that it helps me in a little bit of that momentum going forward, that the next adventure won't be too far behind. You never know. Maybe I'll go to another workshop or seminar. Maybe I'll want to maybe go into the Black Hills. I always wanted to maybe go into the Black Hills and do some adventuring in there. What was it? Oh, gold. They have gold in the Black Hills. So I would like to try maybe going in. That's in North Dakota. Is it North Dakota or South Dakota? Maybe it's South Dakota. Yeah, I'd like to try that next. There's a few different types of adventures that I would like to go. I would like to go to the Middle East, but right now there's so much hairy, scary going on in the Middle East that it may be a while before I get that way, right? But I am pulled. I do want to go to the Middle East, but it has to be safe, right? I can't go to the Middle East when there's so much unrest going on there, where people are just not being respectful of each other, right? They truly aren't. They truly aren't. And those that represent themselves as a respectful nations, they're not holding their own either, right? There's a lot of tit for tat going on there, a lot of retribution. Yeah, it's just not floating my boat. I just don't think it's a safe thing for me to do right now, is to head over to the Middle East, even though I was kindly offered a visit, and I would very much like to be shown that country by my good friend Parvane, who lives actually in the Middle East. And there's, Aziz, she would like me to come to Kurdistan and visit her in Kurdistan. Then I have my friend, Fardi up in Turkey. I would love to go. I would love to go see the pyramids in Egypt. Oh my goodness, I would love to go. But that whole area is right all up in arms. I would love to go to Tibet. Oh, or Mongolia. Oh my goodness. I would love to do an adventure, like a real rugged outdoor survival adventure in Mongolia. That would be so awesome. Yeah, isn't it? It was kind of a miracle, because September's trip was supposed to be a Middle East trip. I had decided that I did want to go, and my expenses were being covered by a kind lady who I made friends with in Iran, and she wanted to cover most of my trip, right? All I had to do was pay for the plane ticket, and I had my passport. And I think they're a little bit more of a stickler when it comes to the rules, when it comes to letting people in. But wow, yeah, there's some crazy stuff going on in the Middle East, right? And my heart goes out to any of the refugees. My heart goes out to the Afghan nation, and for the people that are trying to get out of that country. I don't know too much about the Taliban. I do know that there are different organizations that have tied themselves relationship wise to the Taliban. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that they've associated themselves with the Taliban, but like I said, without me being an expert on those cultures, I don't think it would be proper for me to say one way or another who's to blame for the situation going on. Who was it to say that it was even a good idea that the Canadians and the Americans were over there trying to do a little bit of peacekeeping, right? United Nations, that's the peacekeeper. My husband was doing some work with United Nations, and when he was with Croatia, and he was trying to help out over there. But with things the way they're going on now, with everything, all that's disturbing and the upheaval of these countries right now, yeah, I feel really sad, and I really hope that we can get back. And they came up with some really great ideas trying to keep the lines of communication open with the Taliban and stuff, right? So they're trying right now to try and keep, at the very least, to try to keep the airport open, right? Wouldn't that be amazing? Give people an opportunity to get their papers in order, get sponsors in order. Maybe, right? Maybe we can do a little bit more. Our prime minister here, Prime Minister Trudeau, he says we're not done yet helping the Afghanis, right? The Afghanistans, that we'll figure something out. I heard that the United States did a kindness and saved 500 seats for some Canadians to help the Canadians get back into the country. And how nice was that? How nice was that? They could have saved those seats for their own, because I know there's not lots of Americans holding out and waiting to see what's going on. But that was really amazing. I don't know what the story was there, why they decided to leave those seats open so that the Canadians could all get back. But yeah, super grateful. And those are the kindnesses, right, that are remembered when they tell the stories down the road, when they start resolving some of the issues and things start going back to the normal, that we'll be able to talk about some of these amazing stories of people holding each other up, right, during these difficult times. Yeah. Yeah, I've been watching. Like I said, I don't watch the news a lot. What's going on? Melvin probably could add to this conversation because he understands the political part of these uprisings that happen. Like, he probably have better insight for us on what's going on there. But yeah, I don't have much to say when it comes to the politics, because I am a true believer that it takes all kinds to make the world. And I do understand, with just like any other country, there are good aspects and bad aspects of every country. And I don't like to play that blame game, right? I do believe that there's been a lot of tit for tat going on. You did this to us, so we're going to do this to you, and right. And there's got to be somebody that's going to be strong enough to say, you know what? I don't know who's right in this situation, who's wrong in this situation, but this isn't going to do any of us any good. Why don't we kind of take a break from all of this, and yeah, just maybe not do the blame game part of it, right? Oh, okay. Okay, no, 100%, Melvin. If you don't want to talk about it, 100%. And like I said, I'm doing the same thing because I don't think I should really have a big say on it. I do have friends in the Middle East. I do, and I judge people for what they bring to the table. I don't judge them as a whole, and I don't think any of us really can judge them as a whole, because there is good and bad in everybody. And Owen too has a say in this, right? His life has been affected by some of the goings ons of the people in the Middle East, right? Because he was situated in a situation where he actually had to bear witness to some unkindnesses in those factors. And that's not for me to tell that story. That's Owen's story, right? But maybe one day Owen will share it with us, right? But we all have our own struggles. We most definitely are. And I'm a true believer in that it takes all kinds to make the world. And I don't judge. I judge people how they treat me, right? Because everybody has an enemy. And I think just because so and so doesn't get along with somebody, that doesn't mean that person that I couldn't have a shot at maybe getting along with those. Yeah, Owen, I think that day is coming. Oh, William, yes. I remember you used to talk about your mom all the time, right? But as time goes by and as we talk about things and as we share in the tears, right? What do they say? It takes talking, time, and crying to actually get over the heartbreak. But eventually we do, right? October 31st. Holy moly. My birthday is October 22nd. So your mother was a Scorpio, William. I'm a Libra. I was actually 15 minutes. If I was born 15 minutes later, I would have been a Scorpio also. Yeah, your mother was a Scorpio, William. Yeah, she was a go-getter for sure. That woman had a lot of energy and she had a lot of confidence, I would assume, right? Because those Scorpios, they are definitely go-getters, the Scorpios, right? Libra is a little bit more on the balance side. We are a little bit artistic, a little bit flaky that way when it comes to our art and our creativity, right? Oh, Melvin's a Virgo. What are you, Andrew? Yeah, because I'm a Libra. I was 15 minutes short of being a Scorpio. So I know I have lots of planets. I've been always meaning to get deeper into the horoscope, into astrology and stuff. I have a natural affinity to it. I have a natural affinity to it. But because I'm studying the mindset and the mindfulness, that there's still so much more work to do there, right? But yeah, I truly attribute all my success in getting myself sorted out, getting it back together, because holy moly, that was a crazy situation. I was so mixed up. There was a lot of heartbreak and a lot of pain, a lot of realizations and revelations, and yeah, a lot of forgiveness to do along the way. Yeah. I couldn't have done it without you guys though, but I swear there were times that I actually thought that I was going to be a crazy woman, right? I didn't know whether I was coming or going. But yeah, that was my astrology. Oh, you're a Taurus. Okay. I love Tauruses, right? They are strong, independent. They know where they're going. They take things under control. Yeah. Yeah. A guy with a good head on their shoulders. Yeah. Those are the Tauruses. Yeah. But Libra, very artistic, a little flaky at the same time, right? But that's the fun of it. That's the fun of it. 100%. Let me have a sip of my coffee. I made a cup of coffee for my life. And always at the end of my lives, I think, holy cow, Cindy, you didn't even have a drink. Mm. I'm looking forward to this trip, you guys. I've been packing today, my living room here. I swear, I want to grab the camera and show everybody this big mess that I've got going on here. But I haven't quite decided whether I'm going to be sleeping in the vehicle or if I'm actually going to uh, pop my tent up and sleep in my tent, right? I have to check out the wildlife in that area. Being up in the mountains, I'm going to assume that there is lots of bears. There's going to be cougars. I'm going to assume there's lots of cougars, porcupines, the basics, foxes, right? Otters. I don't think I'm going to have time for fishing. And fishing, I'm kind of, because I have this new no-kill attitude, that I don't even think that I'd want to go fishing, right? I don't know what I would do if I got a fish on my hook, right? Yeah. The last time I fished and I caught a fish, oh, I was so excited. It was truly exciting. But I wasn't fishing to keep the fish or to eat the fish. And when I took the hook out of its mouth, I made such a mess of half of its face, and it broke my heart. It swam away, but I don't know how it possibly could have survived, right, after that. Well, Kitty, maybe on this trip that I'm taking in 2 weeks, finally we're getting on the road. That let's hopefully find some abandons. I'm trying to think some of my regular explores along the way, because I will be taking the Trans-Canada Highway. I'll be taking Highway 17. And I was actually thinking I'm going to take my passport too. And it's another reason why I don't want to take the cat, is because I'm thinking that I'm going to come up through the States on my way home. I'm going to go over the border and I'm going to come home through the United States. I'll come through Minnesota. I'll come through Minnesota and South Dakota and come up through North Dakota and back into Canada that way. I think it's only like an extra 5 hours or something, but wouldn't it be a nice drive? And I'm looking forward to picking up a Mellow Bar. Man, when I was in the States on my last trip to the States, when I went to Minneapolis in 2019, I went to Minneapolis. And I went into the store to pick up some chocolate bars, because only on my trips am I allowed to eat the things I'm not allowed. It's the only rule, right? So on my trip, I'll be able to go into a restaurant and have breakfast and have peanut butter toast, because I have not had regular bread for how long? I don't know how long. Couple of years, few years maybe even. So I'm looking forward to having peanut butter toast. I haven't had peanut butter forever and ever. And I used to eat a ton of peanut butter. I was actually addicted to peanut butter for the longest time. I could eat a jar of peanut butter every 2 days. And that started when I first had my operation, when I had my gastric bypass. And the doctor said, have a tablespoon of peanut butter every day to get your protein, right? And I did that, and I ended up getting hooked on peanut butter, so that, and there's so much fat. And I didn't realize, I don't know if you guys knew this, but peanut butter actually causes inflammation in the body, right? Causes inflammation in the body. And a lot of those inflammation problems that I had totally disappeared when I gave up bread. I didn't give up peanut butter, but peanut butter seemed to be, the outcome of me quitting bread, because without the bread, I didn't have toast. And if I didn't have toast, then I didn't want peanut butter, right? I could practically live my whole life like eat nothing else except for peanut butter toast. That's how much I loved it. Yeah, I ate it an awful lot. And I think probably that's why I slowly, even if I wasn't eating lots, why I slowly gained weight back, right? Consistently, is because peanut butter is so fattening, right? Yeah. Oh, Angry Birds is talking about time travel, eh? You know what? I really love those movies. There were a few movies that we watched the in time travel, right? There was the one that was what was this? Christopher Reeves. What was that one, Andrew? I know you know the name of that movie. It was I'm trying to think the name of that movie now. It's right on the tip of my mouth. On Day to Remember? No, I can't remember what it was called. And he kept going back into the past. I remember that he went back in the past. And then there was a really old one, Somewhere in Time, 100%, Andrew. Was that off the top of your head, or did you have to Google something? Yeah, Somewhere in Time. What a great movie. That was just before he got in this accident and became a paraplegic, right? What a handsome man. What a handsome actor he was. He was a really, really good actor, too. And his wife stayed with him after the accident, and he never stopped searching. He would make himself the guinea pig. He thought in his lifetime that he would be able to actually have the operation and be able to cure his being paralyzed, and he never did. He actually did pass away. Yeah, that was sad. That's a big struggle, and he went through that struggle in the limelight. You remember those Inquirer magazines? Every time you went to the grocery store, there was a picture of him. You know, like that must have been really, really hard on him. Must have been really hard on his family too, Somewhere in Time. But yeah, really great movie. It makes you think though of the possibilities, right? I believe that there are different, depending on the choices we make in our lives, those big moments in our lives when we have an opportunity to make a change in our lives and make a big choice that really makes a significant change in our lives, that those lives are actually living parallel towards us. There was an important decision that we had to make that we were always meant to make, and then one part of us made that decision that we needed to in order to move forward. But then maybe the other part of us chickened out or something and didn't make. Oh, what was that? The two doors, the revolving doors. Remember there was another movie, Revolving Doors, where it was two parallel lives living at the same time, right? I remember that one too. I can't remember. It was something about two doors. I think it was called The Two Doors or something. I can't remember the actress who was in it. But yeah, it was just two parallel lives and totally different lives. But because of the choices that they had made in their lives, it dictated the lives that they ended up having, right? Yeah, interesting. A little bit of that time travel. Oh yeah, and then of course there was Back to the Future, right? There was some time travel there. What other movies were there about time travel? Oh, I'm just trying to think of the one. There was one, it was from the 60s, the late 60s, and I'm thinking they were like these white abominable snowmen, right? And this one guy, he was in love with one of the ladies, and they were like cave people, right? Like back in cave days, just because of the decisions that were being made, that their lives were different. Maybe it was, maybe it was the Time Machine. Maybe that was the name of the movie, Time Machine. And then at the end, they actually moved the big round rock and covered the hole so that they couldn't escape to the surface, that these creatures couldn't escape from the surface because they were actually stealing all the women and stuff. Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in decades and decades. I'm surprised that I even remember that movie. The Time Tunnel. I don't even remember hearing that one, the Tunnel. I never even remember hearing about that one. But I do think it's quite possible that there could be time machines in the future. You never know. We are advancing so fast now. Do you remember in the 60s, you guys, the Jetsons? And remember those cartoons? And every Saturday we would sit in front of the TV and watch the Jetsons. And those shows have been realized right down to the robot servants, right? The monitors where they would talk to each other and their faces would pop up on the screens, right? What about Star Trek? Well, we haven't figured that one up, but it kind of looked like a flip phone, didn't it? Where beam me up, Scotty, when they would say, beam me up, Scotty, right? And it actually did look like a flip phone. I wonder if they actually designed the flip phone to actually, resemble what we were thinking about when we watched those episodes of Star Trek, right? 100%. Yes. Let me go back and see what I missed up here. But yeah, Kitty, I will be hoping to get some urban exploration in. That will be absolutely amazing. I plan on doing some mindset posts. I'm doing some mining. It's going to be 5 days of absolutely amazing. I'm going to fill it up with tons of neat, interesting, insightful, beautiful landscapes, little bit of adventure, lots of adventure. And I'm going to share it with everybody. And then you guys can pick and choose what you liked and what you didn't like. And maybe that will be all the momentum I need to just pick up and just start planning for the next venture, right? And of course, I want to show you a little bit more of Winnipeg at the same time. My sister is feeling, for those of you who I told you that my sister ended up in the hospital and she was really quite critically ill. She's doing much better now. I sent her a card. I mailed her a get well card. She seems to do much well. She said she went out grocery shopping with my sister yesterday. So she seems to be doing much better. That's some really good news. She got a few answers as to some of the problems that she was having. So she's going to be able to stay on top of things, hopefully a little bit better. Maybe this is an opportunity for her to make some changes, some serious changes in her life, right? Wouldn't that be amazing if the whole family came along for this ride that we're on, right? Oh, for sure. Wild rice. We sell a lot of wild rice here. If you Google Winnipeg's Forks, they'll have a shop in there for sure. And I'm sure they'll mail it to you. They probably have an online store or something. Yeah, just Google Kitty Winnipeg Forks. Forks and shops of Winnipeg Forks. And something will pop up and you should be able to get a bag of the wild rice. Yeah, we have a lot of marshland here in Manitoba, and I know especially up in the Nopaming area where I like to go camping and stuff in the summertime, there's lots of wild rice. It's amazing. You could support a tribe, like, the indigenous survived for thousands of years on what the land here in Manitoba was producing for them. Yeah. But yeah, if you love supporting the mom and pop companies, yeah, you'll definitely find one of those shops if you Google Winnipeg Forks, and you'll find one of the stores that will have these products that you're looking for in there. Take a look at this. But I'm just trying to think now what I need to do. My new microphone has been ordered. It's going to be here between the 3rd and the 24th, and I'm leaving on the 15th. So I'm really hoping it's going to be here before the 15th. I'm sure I'm sure it will. Amazon, they leave them their safe zones of amount of time that they have things to deliver, and it's better to expand on the later half possibilities of when it's going to be delivered than sooner, because otherwise people start calling and complaining, where's the things I ordered, where are the things I ordered. But I sure would like some time before I leave to practice, right, to make a couple of posts already that won't have the sound being interfered with by the wind, that will make it so that I'm able to walk away from my camera for quite a distance and be able to show some beautiful landscapes behind me, and everybody will be able to watch, right, to be able to hear me nice and clear. So yeah, I hope my microphone, she said she would phone me the moment that my microphone got here. She said she would phone me and let me know that it was here. So hopefully it doesn't take too long, and no matter what, I needed it anyway if I'm going to carry on with my brand and carry on making outdoor urban exploration videos or back road exploration videos or bushcraft videos, right? Or even my mindset and my mindfulness videos, right? Yeah, that it's not going to stop. I just want to see how I can bring it to the table, all my interests at the same time, how I can blend them together, whether I have the affinity and the desire to carry on in those directions, or does the universe have something else planned for me along the way? Maybe it was just to introduce me and to get me on the right path and get me set in the right direction in where I wanted to go. But I don't know unless I give it a fair shot. So that's the plan. Is this trip is all about making some discoveries for myself, for my brand, right? In moving forward, to share and say thank you to all of you guys for sticking out with me, even though there wasn't any outdoor videos, that you actually hung out with me anyway, just because, right? And I think that is just the most beautiful thing of all, is that you guys did that for me, right? Yeah. 3 hour work weeks. Oh, can you imagine, Andrew? 3 hour work weeks. I know in Switzerland, is it Switzerland? That they have very short work weeks, that they have a lot of benefits, but they pay very, very high taxes. I think their taxes are like 50% or something, but they get a lot of benefits. I'm not talking financial benefits, maybe a little bit financial, but there's a lot of social programs, a lot of, when maternity leave programs and stuff, they say they're the happiest people in the whole world. Canada actually made it on the list of top places to visit in 2021. I thought that was pretty amazing, right? I sure would like to, maybe next summer. We'll see how things start moving, the momentum. I would really like to put a package together. In my store, I work in a little thrift store, for those of you who don't follow me on the norm. And the Hutterites, they rent a bus for the day, and they go from thrift shop to thrift shop shopping, and right. But they rent this little bus, and this bus holds like, oh, maybe 50 people or something on the bus. And I thought, how amazing would it be if I could put some kind of I don't know what we would call it. Would we call it a sabbatical? Right? Because I call them sabbaticals, and actually take a trip. A whole bunch of us take a trip. You guys could figure out how to get to Manitoba, and I could rent a bus, right? Then maybe we could do bed and breakfasts, visit some of the lakes, some of the beautiful nature trails, right? Have some picnics. I could show you some of the wilderness here in Manitoba. It would be amazing if I could do something like that, right? All it takes is time and effort, the energy to put into that, right? And being creative. I figured I could probably do something like that. I used to do club events in the nightclubs that I used to work for and stuff, and I really enjoyed doing that. I used to like to find ways to do uh, fundraising and stuff, find creative ways to do fundraising and stuff. I think renting a bus and then making a trip and planning a trip, I bet you I could plan a really great trip, and something very, very inexpensive, something that any of my people that follow me, right, and follow my content, that they would be able to afford if they wanted to take a little trip, just like what I'm doing next month. In 2 weeks, I'm taking off. That whole trip is pretty much going to be done on one paycheck. That whole trip, right? I have two paychecks back to back that I'm keeping free, but that'll be for like buying my crystals that I find, and any little extra things that I want, just so that I can really say that I had a really, really enjoyable holiday. And I talk about it at work, and all my customers are asking me when I'm going, and they're more excited for me in this trip than I am for the trip myself. And I'm not tied to it. I'm not emotionally tied. I'm emotionally tied to having a break and to be able to figure out where to take my brand, right? But however it works out, right? I am open to that. I'm going to just leave myself open to whatever change in plans happen, because I know things happen, right? Things happen that are totally out of control, but I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm just going to keep doing the best that I can. I set my goal. I'm working towards that goal. So far, so good. Nothing is blowing up in my face. There are possibilities. Like I said, the microphone might not be here on time. It's a possibility, but that's so minor. That's so minor, right? That's not going to interfere in any way. Might have a little bit of wind in the video, but I'm sure that I'll be able to cover it up with some music. It was my favorite thing to do, right? If I ruin the sound of my video, that I would just cover up with some really good music, eh? Let's see what everybody's yapping about. Oh, really? Isn't that something? Yeah, here in Winnipeg, the restaurants and the bars are allowed to be 100% open, but there really isn't the clientele right now. They're also having a really hard time finding staff. So I'm thinking, when I come back from my trip, that maybe I could pick up a couple of extra nights at the bar and pick up a couple of extra shifts, and right, that extra tip money, those extra hours, put it towards my plan, some better camera gear, some more adventures, put it towards a vehicle, because when I get back, you guys, I don't care how long it takes. My main plan will be to purchase a vehicle. It takes away my freedom. I feel controlled. I feel like I'm free. Like my freedom is being constricted because I'm because I'm not able to get out onto the road. I don't complain. I try not to grumble and complain about it, because there isn't really anything I can do about it right now, right? My intent is good. My intent to save money. I mean, but the intent was to have the money saved up for a vehicle right now, and I didn't manage to do it, did I? But I did manage to do some other things, didn't I? I managed to get these glasses. These glasses were $1,000, you guys. I have no idea how I managed to do that. Right? I was strict with myself. I was ready to go off and have a good time and be irresponsible and waste money, but I needed these glasses. I was going to lose my lens, and then I would have to take time off work, wouldn't I? Because I wouldn't have any glasses until I was able to get an optometrist appointment. The money for the glasses, right? And then I would have to wait for them to be made. So it was good that I did it while I still had a pair of glasses. Even if I crazy glued them, I took the frame and I crazy glued them right into the frame so that they would never ever budge or fall out of the frames ever again. They're an emergency pair, and I should remember, because you never know, right? With the glasses, and that was a really good thought that I had right now. These are my old glasses that I totally trashed, right? You can hardly see through them. It's unfortunate I ruined those ones. These are the glasses. Yeah. So these ones, I crazy glued them in, so they still work. But I have to make sure that I take them with me, right? That I take these glasses with me. What's this? Oh, it's my prescription. I can't lose that, right? Because I did get them prescription, so I don't have to pay to have my eyes checked again. I just have to order my glasses. But yeah, get that with my camping gear, because if something happens to my glasses, if I decide to go swimming, which I really, really hope that I can do, that I can go swimming in a lake or something, and I'll film it, you guys, right? I'll make sure that I catch lots of video. It's going to be amazing, right? And this is for everybody. We worked hard. We got through a really crappy couple of years. We really did. It was tough, but we we did it. And before we head into it again, because we can't help but we got a real mess to clean up. There's a lot of turmoil. People are butting heads, right? There's aggression and blame and shame, and right. It's not going to be pretty. We gotta stay as sane as we possibly can during the next couple of years, right? Do as much catching up, stockpiling, right? I think it's going to be tough. I think in order for us to have a real shot at getting a semblance of normalcy back into our lives, we're going to have to put a lot of work into it, right? We're going to have to adapt and conquer like crazy, like crazy. And some of us and I think our crew is doing amazing. I was actually saying that on my Instagram the other day, how well I think that we've done through all of this, right? Like some people like our Nancy, and who went through some terrible, terrible struggles during the coronavirus. And, we held her up and she's so appreciated. And even though she's not here right now, but she's taking a little bit of a break. Right? Lewis and Clark. And that's the day and age that I love to explore, right? They were true. Lewis and Clark were true explorers, 100%. And some of those train tracks too. I would love to do some of those train tracks where you just get on the train tracks and just follow the train tracks, because those old CNR railroad tracks are still in North Dakota, and they haven't been used since they closed down the railway, right? It's all my notifications here. Oh my goodness, some really, really good ones this week. You guys, you should be following me on Instagram. My lives are popping. I think they're popping anyway, right? And as I learn more, as I feel my way around there, as I feel comfortable in my own shoes, right? I'm doing really good over there too. But I'm looking forward to tying it all up to my YouTube channel too. Oh, hi, dear. Now, yeah, see those ones that are tourist places. We got some of those towns too. We got heritage villages and stuff. And in some towns, the community actually drag all the old homesteads and the old one-room schoolhouses and stuff. They pull them into one area and they fix them and renovate them and stuff. And the schools do tours. Like school trips and stuff to them. Those aren't the kind that I like. I like to go and find the true abandoned houses, the old true abandoned one-room schoolhouses and the churches. Oh yes, I'm looking forward. I hope I find a couple of those. I hope I find a couple of those churches or schools on this trip. And I'm going slow. I'm not rushing it. I have 5 days, but it's only going to take me actual maybe 8 hours of driving if I slow poke it, 8 hours of driving. But I'm going to be making lots of pit stops. I'm going to be making content for my Instagram. I'm going to be making some urban exploration videos if I come across some abandons. I want to do some videoing and actually showing everybody the little city of Thunder Bay and maybe promoting that city a little bit. I want to show everybody a little bit of on the road in Manitoba. It's been a couple of years now, you guys, right? We've been locked down now for a couple of years. It's time for us to see a little bit of Mother Nature. And I really hope that Mother Nature is actually going to show herself, right? Maybe we'll see some moose or some, right? Maybe we'll see some deer or caribou. We'll see some caribou. I don't know. Maybe we'll see a mountain lion, cougars, wolves, coyotes, beaver. I'm going to sure we're going to see beaver and otter. We're going to see those kind of animals. But it's going to be fun, right? And that is my intent. It's just to show everybody that, yeah, things are starting to go back to normal, or seem like they're going to go back to normal, right? Aw, yeah. Oh, is that ever nice of you to say, dear? Is that ever nice? Thank you. Yeah, I love exploring, and I would actually love to get back into my bushcraft videos too. If I could just figure out a way where I could just purchase a little bit of land or something, or if I could just apply a little bit of equity into a little piece of land with a little house or something, right? And then I could build another fort, and right, we get our YouTube videos up and running again. But that's really nice of you to say, dear. Oh, Kitty, you remember the Folklorama? Yeah, we still have Folklorama. This year they did Folklorama online. I'm sure it didn't work out as well. I didn't hear a lot about it, but I heard that they were going to promote it and do it online. Yeah, I love Folklorama too. I love the Ukrainian. I always went to the Ukrainian one. I always went to the Scottish one because I love the bagpipes. I love the Ukrainian dancers. I used to like to do the Jamaican one too. The Jamaican in the Folklorama. I used to go the Jamaican one, and I love the music and the dancing and the colorful outfits. Yeah, but it's a festival that we have every year here. I think it's the Folklorama is the only one in Canada, is here in Manitoba. Wow, that's neat that you still remember that, dear. Yeah, that's neat that you still remember that. You're right, Andrew. There's a lot about that, right? Because they want to be the saviors, right? They want to that and you that's why they talk about lots how crazy the real estate market is, how great real estate is doing. Nobody has any money to buy houses. How are they buying these houses with their crappy credit? Their credits are got to be shot. Nobody's got any money. Nobody's got any jobs, and yet the market in real estate is going crazy right now. That kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? It's all inflated. It's all inflated, all trying to make it so that it doesn't crash. And then in the end, I think it's actually going to make it crash. I really do think so, because it's not being honest in the movement. You're trying to direct it. You're trying to direct the movement, right? But if it doesn't crash, that's amazing too. I don't want it to crash, but I don't see how it's possible. I was talking to some of the nurses, because a lot of the nurses and doctors and healthcare workers from the hospital, which is just a block away from the store that I work at, they come into the store all the time, and they've got their houses for sale, they got their summer cottages for sale, their second vehicles for sale. People are really, really starting to struggle, right? But yeah, I agree. I agree with Andrew. There's a lot of scare tactics out there. I know us. I think, because like I said, I think we just shine through this whole process. I think all of us just shine through this whole process. And but that doesn't mean it wasn't messy, that we didn't make mistakes. It didn't mean that things went back to normal, because things certainly did go back to normal. We just managed it better. That's all. We just managed it better. Yeah. Grateful for all you guys. Yeah, our Sunday nights, they rocked, right? They gave us something to do. And I couldn't imagine. I was actually talking to one of the ladies at my work, Andrew, about you. We were having a little bit of a talk, and I was talking because what we were talking about, infections or something, and how the coronavirus was shutting us down, and how people are trying to manage and still ending up having problems, but having to still be creative in the way that they resolve their problems, right? And I said, I've got to get this walking stick done. Right, my friend Andrew, of all people, out of anybody, like, he just had a staph infection and it's already almost died. Like I need to get this cane to him, right? So as long as everybody's okay with that, I'm going to be sending Andrew his first. Owen will get his. Karen lives in Manitoba, so her husband actually works in the city. I don't know if he's back to work yet, but Karen's husband can stop by my work or stop by my house anytime after work and pick up Karen's cane because she could use it right now too, my friend Karen, right? And it would do her so good. I did a really good job thinking about her conditions in my mind when I was making it, and I think I did a beautiful job on that walking stick. But I've had it for over a year now. It's ready to 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 meet its new mom, to find its new home, right? And if she doesn't come and get it, well, I'm going to have to send it on its way. It'll have to go to somebody else, right? I don't know how many walking sticks I have in me anymore. You know, I'm down to, well, I think this is the second one that I've done this year, right? Because I started this one and I started Nancy's magic wand, right? And I still have that one to finish, but when I put the finishing on it, when I put the clear coats on it, I'll do them both at the same time. So they'll be ready at the same time, and I'll be able to send Nancy off her magic wand, and hopefully it'll do her some magic, right? Hopefully it'll do her some magic in the meantime. But what's everybody's plans for the next couple of months? Has anybody got anything on the agenda that they're going to get cracking on? Or any projects that they have in mind that they want to get started on? I know with me, after this trip, as soon as I get back from this trip, I'm applying myself. It's a vehicle, right? My Dodge, not my Dodge Nitro. My Dodge Nitro. If I can't get my Jeep Rubicon Wrangler Unlimited 2021 with the big bull bar, the big tires, chromed out with the steps, with the running lights on top, then I'll go and I'll save $8,000, and I should be able to do that in a year, right? And then maybe next spring, right? It is what it is. Adapt, conquer. If I put that effort into it, if I work towards it, whoever, whatever, hopefully will pick me up behind and swoosh me along, and maybe we can get that vehicle a little bit faster. Maybe with this trip that I'm going on in 2 weeks, that I'll be able to build momentum. You never know. It takes one good windfall. Often it only takes one good windfall. And then we could all be right back, right? Right back into business, and Cindy could be back on the road permanently. Wouldn't it be amazing, right? If I could maybe get us a little trailer, right? Hook it up to my truck. We could hit the road and not come back. Wouldn't it be amazing that Cindy could come down and spend winter in Arizona? Ooh, wouldn't that be nice? Spend winter in Arizona, and then summers here up in Canada. You never know what I'm leaving myself completely open, right? Whatever takes my whimsy, right? Whatever sparkly dazzles and amazes me, I'm going to go along with that. I'm just going to leave myself open. I'm going to learn to say yes to the possibilities, to the choices that might be offered to me, right? And we'll see where it takes me. Follow my intuition. I know it's going to be great. Wow, that's heavy reading, Andrew. Yeah, I've been doing a little bit of reading myself. This one here I'm reading right now is called Listen, Love, Repeat, right? Should we get a lesson right now? I do this all the time. You guys know I do this. You open up the book and we say, whoever, whatever, we need a message for the whole crew tonight. Can you give us something that's an excellent lesson? Here it is. I'm reading it. Not only do we need to find the balance between loving others and loving ourselves, wow, here we go. We also need to make daily and even minute-by-minute decisions about who to love right now. As a young mom with 3 children under the age of 6, I had to decide whether to feed the crying baby, show attention to the wailing toddler, or help the kindergartner learn her alphabet, right? I need to decide if I will go to coffee with a hurting friend or help out an annual Christmas outreach event as I had promised. Who or what comes first? Right? That's what I was just saying. Like, leave ourselves open. We have to adapt. We have to conquer. Problems are going to end up on across our table that we're going to have to deal with in the moment. There's only 2 weeks until this trip is coming up. Who knows what's going to happen in that span of 2 weeks? That those plans could totally change. I don't expect they will, because I am reverse engineering my plans full force. But you don't know. Whoever, whatever might have bigger plans for me, something more important, more dazzle and amaze, right? But I leave myself open, and if it fails, well, that's on me, right? That's on me, and that will be a lesson for me to try a little bit harder, right? Be a little bit more accountable to myself and a little bit more accountable to others, and then I won't make those same mistakes over again, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's we need to, it says here, we who or what comes first, there where we need to return to step one. That's where we need to return to step one. Love God, because when you love God first, seek his will, and learn and listen for the unique way he communicates with you, he can begin to make pain your path for each day and each moment, right? God. That's a big one right there, right? It just might show up, Melvin. That Jeep Rubicon just might show up. It never fails. Every single day, I look out my window like I'm looking right now to see if it is sitting out there, because I believe in possibilities, because I believe in miracles, because I believe that it's possible, right? That if I make that movement towards it, that eventually I will get what I want. What I desire desires me, right? Let's just hope that Rubicon wants to come and hang out with me. That would be an expensive truck to insure too. I bet you that truck would probably cost me $500 a month to insure, right? It's a really an expensive truck. I think it's $70,000 with the few goodies that I need. The few, the big tires, the bull bar, the running lights, right? Chromed out a little bit. It'd be about a $70,000 vehicle. I don't know if that's US or Canadian. Might be US, which would be really, really scary at that point. North of Lake Winnipeg? Oh, for sure, Kitty. One of my favorite places for camping is up in Nopaming, which is north of Lake Winnipeg. And it is an amazing, amazing place. It's all boreal forest. It's all rock. It's where the glaciers lost its strength as they were receding 100,000 years ago, right? The last of the glaciers, so it wasn't strong. The glaciers weren't strong enough to grind down the mountain, but we had mountains here in Manitoba that would rival the Rocky Mountains. But yeah, when the glaciers receded, it ground those mountains down. But it's one of my favorite places here in Manitoba. We are the province of 10,000 lakes. There's more than 10,000 lakes here in Manitoba, and most of them were carved out of the landscape by the glaciers, right? And yeah, Lake Winnipeg. I went camping there. We used to. My friend Tracy, she had a cabana, which was just a trailer, and she opened up the back end, and we would all sleep in there. And she had a catamaran, and we'd take the catamaran out into the middle of the lake. I remember the catamaran flipping and trapping me under the catamaran, under the water one time. Oh, And we were the first people out on the lake that year. We couldn't wait, but we didn't drain the boonies. Because, there are two buoys on each side of a catamaran. The catamaran is the boat that has the tarp in between two buoys, and then it has big sails. And it flipped over on us, and I got trapped. But we forgot to drain the buoys in the springtime. They filled up with water. So when we hit the waves, the boat kind of tilted forward. And when the boat tilted forward, all the water rushed to the front of the buoys, and it tipped the boat right over. And I did get trapped underneath, but I eventually popped up. I loved the water. We clung on to that buoy, and like I said, it was the beginning of the season. It was still basically, it was a nice day, but it was still basically winter, and the water had just finished thawing. The ice floe had just started thawing off of the lake, and the only ones out on the lake were the fishermen on the big trawlers out on the lake, and they actually saw us flip over, and they came to our rescue and dragged us and our boat back to shore. I get myself in those situations every once in a while, not often. I'm pretty stable when it comes to those decisions, or when I get myself into sticky situations. I come up pretty quickly with creative ideas on how to get out of those sticky situations. But in the moment, it can be pretty scary. Oh, William, hi dear. Nice to see you. Have a great night, William. I didn't even know that William was in here. Oh, I feel bad. Yeah, I didn't see William. See how far back? I have to look. Oh, maybe he just popped into. Oh, he has been here for the past while. Yeah, William. Nice to see you, dear. And yeah, I hope you have a great week. William has been working hard. He's been helping his pastor out with his church. He's been struggling a little bit. The pastor's been struggling, and William has been offering up his time and helping the pastor. So yeah, see you next Sunday, dear William. Yeah, I hope your week goes really well. I hope you're managing okay. You're not overloading yourself with all kinds of work. We're just yapping here today about anything, right? I'm just getting excited for the trip. Like I said, today I still have a little bit to do. I've washed my bedding and everything, but I still have my bed to put back together. I want to have a bath tonight after I've cleaned my bathroom up spotless. I cleaned up my walk-in closet spotless, right? Swept corner to corner, ready for a little bit of a vacuum cleaner, ready for some dinner now. I haven't had dinner yet, and it's almost 9 o'clock, you guys. Holy moly, already. Yeah, I haven't had any dinner yet, so I'm gonna have a little bit of dinner and just enjoy my evening, rest of my evening now. And then tomorrow morning when I get up, well, I'm gonna finish up a little bit of cleaning. I'm going to enjoy doing my live tomorrow on Instagram. And if you guys don't hang out with me on Instagram, you should. Like I said, we're having a good time over on the Instagram too, and they're looking forward to this trip too, right? Wow, Kitty, that would have been an amazing trip. Oh my goodness. I would have loved to have gone to a trip to Hudson Bay. That's one of my dreams, right? To go on one of those tundra buggies and go on a polar bear safari. Oh, that would be amazing. Yeah, here in Manitoba, in order to get to Hudson Bay, you have to drive to the Paw, and then you take the Hudson Bay rail up to Churchill. And then, yeah, I would love to go to Fort Frances. I would love to go see, right, the very first Hudson Bay fort when the fur traders first came to Canada. Yeah, and it's still there, everybody. The fort is still there. Yeah, that would be amazing. Amazing. I love trains. I took when I moved to Winnipeg, I moved here with my sister. Me and my sister stayed behind because she was just wanted to spend a little bit of time with her boyfriend before she moved to Manitoba. So I stayed with her and her boyfriend for a couple of weeks, and then we hopped a train, and we took the train to Winnipeg, and my dad picked us up. My dad and my mom and my two youngest sisters flew to Winnipeg, and they were staying in a motel there, and we stayed in a motel for a couple of weeks before my dad found a house, and yeah, I only stayed there for maybe 6 months. Like I said, me and my mother had a pretty strained relationship, but I wasn't ready to disconnect from my entire family. I wasn't going to be left behind in Vancouver all by myself, like all by myself. I was 18 years old. That wasn't going to happen. So I ended up moving to Winnipeg, and then my sister decided to move back to BC, and I decided to go hang out with her. And I stayed. I came back to I only came back for about 6 months or so, and then I went back to Winnipeg. And then when I came back to Winnipeg, I stayed. I loved the people in Winnipeg. I thought the people were amazing. They were so friendly, so caring and helpful, and so down to earth. Like I really felt like I was home. I never felt judged. I always seemed I guess when I lived in Vancouver, I felt judged all the time. And I never had that feeling when I moved to Winnipeg. I always felt like I was accepted right away. People here don't judge people by appearances, I think, as much as some people or some places did. I was able to make friends, very close people in my life that I kept for decades, right? Eventually we all move forward. Eventually we all move on with our lives, and right now I keep in touch. I follow a couple of people from high school on my Facebook, but for the most part, no. I basically hang by myself. But it doesn't mean that if I bumped into these people tomorrow that we wouldn't hit it off. 100% there would be all kinds of hugs and kisses for some of those people that made an impact in my life. And boy, if I didn't realize and appreciate what they brought to my life 10, 20, 30 years ago, I certainly do now. 100%, I certainly do. Yeah. Yeah, I would love to go up to Churchill, like a winter safari. I would love to. I know they just built another Tundra machine. Uh, it's like a great big bus, but it's meant specifically for the snow that you could take it out in the tundra in the wintertime and not get stuck. But also they have decks and stuff, so when you go out onto the deck of the bus, that the polar bears can't reach you because the polar bears are like 10, 12 feet high once they get on their hind legs, right? And they'll try and eat you for sure on the back of one of those trucks. But a lot of photographers, a lot of wildlife, like National Geographic type people, they like to take their cameras out there and get amazing photographs of the polar bears. Yeah, polar bears aren't always pure white either. If you actually look at a polar bear, you'll see that quite often they have a yellow hue to their fur. I was actually watching a program about some polar bears that were actually black bears, but because they interbred with the polar bears, that they actually have really light coats, right? And they sometimes make it a little bit further down south into Manitoba. I've never seen a well, no, that's not true. We have polar bears at the Assiniboine Park Zoo, and I've gone to see the polar bears there. Right, we do have polar bears here in Manitoba. So yes, I have seen the polar bears. I saw the polar bears a couple of years ago when I went to the dinosaur exhibit they had at Assiniboine Park. Now that was fun. They put these life size mechanical dinosaurs all in the park, in the forest and stuff, in the trails, and you walk the trails, and they have all kinds of dinosaur birds and Tyrannosaurus Rex and right, all kinds of neat things, and they're all in motion. But it would be lots of fun to see that again, to experience that again. And it is they do have it. They brought it again this year to Assiniboine Park. So yeah, that's something I could possibly do. And actually, I'm waiting to take my kite out still, but it's been raining and our heat wave. I didn't tell you guys earlier when I started the live show tonight. Our heat wave ended here in Manitoba. It's been raining and chilly all week. We've actually been wearing our light jackets this week, so it has cooled off quite a bit here in Manitoba. Yeah, I agree with you, Kitty. I agree with you that the lockdown it is hard, right? Here in Manitoba, we're 80% vaccinated here in Manitoba, over 80%. We have, and they're promoting people, trying to get people to change their mind. I'm sure they're trying to do this where you're living too, right? The people who decided not to have their vaccines. But it's a personal choice, right? Everybody has a personal choice. But here in Manitoba, you kind of they got you like again that stick with the bag at the end, right? They've given contests where they're giving scholarships for university and college to the kids if they get their vaccines. There are cash prizes going on uh, to get the vaccines, different incentives, right? Because you have to have your two vaccines taken care of in order to go to the hockey games and the baseball games and right to different public places. Um, we still have to wear our face masks, even in my store, on the buses. I take the bus to work every day. We still have to wear our masks and everything, right? But isn't it amazing to think that if we should get the virus, yes, we're going to get really, really sick, right? But we're not going to die now. That's the best part. Here in Manitoba, I think we have 3 or 4 people in the intensive care with the coronavirus. That's pretty good. That's so amazing compared to what could have been happened. All that money, all those resources that would have gone into saving people's lives, those lives have been saved now. People who never realized that it was their time to pass, right? That it could have been a different story being written and that they were meant to pass. But for whatever reason, they decided to have the vaccine and now their lives are spared and they don't even know it. Maybe my life was spared, right? By having both those vaccines. And yet I'll never know. But, we should appreciate it. We should appreciate, that was a lot of effort, a lot of working with each other, different agencies. That was a lot of promotion. That was a lot of faith that the public put into the medical system and into the government. That was a lot of money. That cost a lot of money. Especially the government were supporting people, right? People weren't paying the rent. I still owe my rentals company money for rent. It's going to be a struggle. We're not out of this. We're not even close to being out of this, people. But we are going to get a bit of a reprieve. We're going to get an opportunity to get a little bit of a semblance of some normalcy, right? But we'll see. It's going to be hard. But I have faith in this crew at the very least, right? I have faith in this crew. Okay, everybody. I guess that's it for tonight. I guess we're going to call it a night, and I'm going to get back to cleaning up this mess and putting the bedding on my bed, maybe taking a couple of lessons online, maybe a couple of metal detecting videos. I'm going to research the vehicle. I'm going to do a little bit of more research on Thunder Bay. I'm actually going to check out and see what there is for abandons, right? Because again, Kitty, We got to get some abandoned, some urban explorations, not just rock hounding, just not back road exploring, but we want to actually get an abandon in. Wouldn't it be amazing if we got a couple of abandons in on this trip? 2 weeks away, people. We're 2 weeks away from this trip happening. This trip, this one paycheck holiday that I'm putting together, and that's my signal to call it a night. A one paycheck little holiday, and this shows the possibilities for you too, that maybe that you could figure out a little something. Maybe if it's just a day trip to go off to the park or a picnic or something to help boost your morale and make you feel a little bit better just before, right? Because, yeah, funny feelings, right? Calm before the storms. Yeah, let's have a good time. 2 weeks away, people. Two more live shows, and we're going to be doing an adventure. Okay, everybody, that's it for tonight. We'll see each other next Sunday. Thank you all for coming in. Thanks, Owen, Andrew, Kathy, for coming in and hanging out. Thank you, Melvin, for popping in, and William, and Angry Birds, and Kitty. Thank you, Kitty, for coming in and sharing your thoughts and dreaming up those amazing memories of Winnipeg. And I agree with you, right? To a little bit of normalcy, that maybe you could show your family the amazing place that you lived in, right? Dazzle and amaze. I love the prairies. I really do love the prairies. Okay, everybody, that's it for tonight. We'll see each other next Sunday. Have a great week, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.